This is Terrence Kyle with MTAC Roofing Systems, doing roof inspections for David Arnold. David spoke with Nancy. I looked on the inside of the sunroom and got a good idea of where the water is coming in from. I got up here, so what I'm looking for is any rotted decking, any signs that show me where water could be getting in from. Well, the first thing that I seen is a missing shingle right here. Now this looks like it's been sealed up before, but you'll see stuff like this. That's where wind blew up at one point, blew that up. And then right here, that's a creased shingle. There's quite a few of them over here as well. Right there, right there. And you can tell this one started to lift up because of that. Any storm that comes through, if it's blowing rain, wind, it's gonna start blowing them up, and it loosened up those two shingles. I don't think that that's the cause of the leak. So what I started looking for is the valleys. What's going on with the valleys? Are they installed properly? Right here, this is what we call a weaved valley. Right here, this is called a cut valley. There was a lot of debris built up right here, but what I did is I kind of moved it so I could paint the picture of what may be going on. I don't think the issue's coming from this corner right here though. So I got a majority of it moved. What's going on right here is it goes from a cut valley down to a weaved valley. Now what I would have done is I probably would have kept it a cut valley instead of weaved it, because now all the rain that runs down goes up underneath this shingle. And at the end of the day is, you know, if you have rain getting to those nail heads or any water getting to the nail heads, it starts rusting them out. So if I check the decking right here, it's still really good. Check it right here, you can tell it's not as firm. Doesn't mean it's completely rotted, but what it does mean is that it's not as firm. So water has probably built up and gotten to this decking before. And like I showed you, I mean, there's a lot of debris. So that means that water's staying stagnant. If water stays stagnant, then it gets to those nail heads. And at the end of the day is when you have water sit on nail heads for too long, they start rusting, and then they start leading to bigger problems such as water intrusion. But I don't think that's the main source of the leak. I think the main source of the leak, for it to actually be coming in and getting in all the seams and the cracks on the inside of the sunroom, is what you have here is this called a ridge vent. Now, if you look under here, this ridge vent has like a mesh material. Now, if I look at this ridge vent, I don't have my tape measure on me, but if I had to guess, is this ridge vent is not a full 12 inch. We use a full 12-inch ridge vent, and this thing is kind of lifted up and it's not closed off. It's open right here. So what could be happening is when it rains super, super hard, what could be happening is rain literally stacks up and it breaches into the ridge. And if you got a cut ridge, you know, you can only assume what happens is rain goes up and then it backs up in there and then it just falls straight down into the attic space. And that's what could be causing the problem. I can't be definite, just because, like I said, I've walked all over this gable and I mean, everything is firm. Even if I wanted to find a leak on this slope and that slope, it'd be hard to diagnose it. So I think that this is the main problem. I think that this ridge vent's causing a majority of the leakage, and also got exposed nail heads. And I also looked over, since I seen this wind damage, I looked over the entire roof. I didn't see any other wind damage, but I did see a couple things that I'd go ahead and bring to your attention. Right here, this your HVAC pipe. The paint's chipping off. This one's not rusted, but what is rusted is you got rusted nail heads, and then you got this corner lifting up. So there's a nail right here, it's still sealed, but what happens is a lot of times they'll try to pull up. Now, once that nail pulls up, water can get to that hole, and the same thing goes for this one. That sealant's actually peeling off there, but it's still firm. And I'll mention this one right here. This is another exhaust vent. This one's completely rusted. So with a rusted vent, you know, they're still sealed down, nailed down, but they are coming exposed. But what happens with these vents is once they start rusting, now you have to look into replacing this whole vent cap. So I recommend painting it for sure before it gets to that extent. Same thing here, you got some rust building up. Sealant's starting to wear off right there. This sealant's about to peel off. and then the pipe boot. So what happens with these is a lot of times the rubber gasket around this pipe boot will actually start dry rotting, and that's why they put this piece right here, is so that water can't get in between this gasket and the pipe, because if that happens, water goes straight to your attic. But what is happening is the nail's backing out. So I could literally push that thing down, and that's what I'll do today. I'll get up here and hammer this thing back down and go ahead and seal it up so that you're not having any problems with this right here. But the same thing on the back. You're seeing the power attic fan up here. Got the same issue happening. You can see they sealed this nail head up. However, the nail head pulled through. So I don't think this would cause a leak just because the nail head is still in there. But you can see it's starting to rust. Whereas this one's still holding it down, which is good news. And then right here, you got some rotted siding. There's no telling if there is flashing. Generally, if there was flashing, you'd be able to see some kick out right here, which basically diverts that water outwards. And then you would see kick out right here, but all I'm seeing is a line of sealant. So when you see the line of sealant, generally that means, what did they do? They probably didn't put flashing, or they may have done it inferior, because you can see it right there. They may have done it to where they didn't trust their work. So what did they do? They sealed it up, and now that bead of sealant's coming undone. More exposed nail heads. You got exposed nail heads on the ridge caps. It's completely normal. It's an older roof. I'd say this roof's anywhere from 12 to 14 years old. But like I said, I think the majority of the leakage is coming from this ridge vent right here. What I would recommend is either taking up this ridge vent and putting down the new ridge vent. I believe that will stop it. I can't be sure, but I do believe it will stop it. And then of course, putting new ridge shingles over it. So David, I'll get down, I'll show you this video and we'll go from there.